Hello everybody, welcome to our seminar today. The role of teachers and trainers we want to talk about. Just briefly looking back what we did in the last seminars. We talked about the training logbook, how important it is to write down and document what you are doing and to see what needs to be done during your education time. We talked about it's important for the in-company trainer to have regular meetings with your apprentices, just to talk what's coming and also to have a reflection what was done. We talked about safety, how to behave right to avoid accidents, how to use tools right to avoid injuries. And we talked about how to handle with tools, being responsible for own tools and responsible for shared tools. Also we talked, and that's where we want to continue today, we talked about different goals that you have and the apprentice maybe has. We talked about views and so on. So, let's start in our seminar today. We show you now a picture and you see some donkeys there. Two donkeys are connected with a rope. You see they are pulling on different sides. They try to reach their goal, to reach their food, and they're pulling stronger and stronger. Finally, they are not reaching their goal. Either the left one, either the right one. No one is achieving its goal. So they think about what to do. Clever donkeys, they decide, let's go first to the one side and share the food there, and then go to the other side and share the food together there. What is this picture saying to you? Is it in relation to your work maybe? Maybe in relation of your family? Look at the work with young people. Look at the work you as an in-company trainer with your apprentice. Your apprentice may has a specific goal or something that is up in his mind as he comes in the morning to the company, and maybe first he wants to have a coffee, but you say no, we have to go, we're in a hurry. So you want to pull him to go doing the work, and he is pulling towards the coffee machine to have a coffee first. So what to do? If you pull and pull, you won't reach your goal, or if you reach it, your apprentice won't be really motivated. So what can you decide? How can you act? What's a compromise maybe for you and for your apprentice so that both of you are happy in the end? Many times during the day you have situations like that. Some are smaller, others are bigger. Always have this picture in mind and try, as far as it's up on you, to find a solution for both of you. If you think about a main goal for your apprentice for the whole period of training time, what could be the main goal for you as the in-company trainer, for you as the company owner? What comes up in your mind if you think about a main goal? Maybe it's just really close that you say, of course, I want to finish successfully with my apprentice this training time. I want it is successful and maybe graduate really good with a good mark. Maybe another goal is that you want to help a young person to develop its personality, to grow and be mature after the training time growing in the training time. Maybe one reason could be fighting poverty, because someone is joining in a DVET training and had no other chance to start into a job because the school marks are not good enough to go to university, or the parents don't have enough money paying a university place. So maybe the dual training is a way out of poverty. Maybe you are interested in a good image for you and your company. Say, we want to be good, we want to show others that we qualify really well young people. Maybe you want to have a certificate, #1 company in the country in DVET. Maybe. One big goal, I think, in the dual vocational education training is to have a qualified employee after the end of the training time. In Germany, it's really important for companies to qualify their own staff for the future, because the market is so empty of good qualified people, so they cannot just go on the employer market and find someone else there who's qualified and motivated. So companies really are keen to train their own people. Of course, it can happen that they go afterwards to another company, but it's a bit also up on you how you treat the people, what you offer them after the training time, how they can maybe develop afterwards in the company itself, how the conditions are, payments, and so on. So for me, there is this big goal I would mention for the company, to have this mature, qualified young person, motivated, working in the company, making its way, and overtaking responsibility for other people in the company. According to the overarching goals, the main goals that we just considered, we have some other thoughts who are connected to that. What is to be learned to reach this goal or these goals? What is to be learned? And why is it important for reaching this goal? Who is learning? Who is the apprentice? What's his personality? What are his needs, strengths and weaknesses? And who is teaching? The in-company teacher, in-company trainer. Who is teaching? How can we bring this together? How can learning, how can teaching work? I show you a triangle with 3 different positions. So on the one side you have the teacher or the in-company trainer. On the other side you have the apprentice or student, and then on top you have the subject. And you see those 3 are connected with each other. They cannot live with the other one. They're always in relation with each other. Let's make an example. You as the in-company teacher, in-company trainer, you think about yourself. You start in this new day, joining with your apprentice, meeting with him, and you know about yourself, hey, this is a good day for me, or it's not so good, because whatever happened, you're not feeling well, you're a bit sick, or something that made you angry on this morning. So just start with yourself and look, how do I feel today? What do I think? And what are my emotions maybe? Then you look at the apprentice and you say, again, he is too late this morning. Why is he always too late? It's not the first time, it's not the second time, it's the 3rd time already in this week. So, and you see there's some emotions coming up in you towards the apprentice. You're not really good to connect with him on this morning. So, and I believe you have a bad morning and your apprentice is not really good he's not on time, you don't feel so good to teach this morning whatever, welding, wood cutting, animal slaughtering, whatever. So you're not really in that mood. And we try with this picture to understand, how do I feel, how do I connect to the other one? So that's the horizontal line. Let's look to the vertical perspective to the subject. Let's say you are cutting food on this morning, okay? So you want to teach your apprentice how to really cut food, meat, let's say meat, cooking for the afternoon. You're working in the kitchen, you're a company trainer for cooks, and on this day it's cutting meat. You show your apprentice. So for yourself, the relation to the subject cutting meat is maybe not so positive, because you don't like meat so much, you like more vegetables and fruits. But you have to show your apprentice cutting meat, because it belongs to the training of a cook. He needs to know how to cut, and you know also how to cut, but it's not your favorite. But in a way, you need to find an opinion to teach your apprentice really well the things he has to learn. For example, in our case, cutting meat. On the other side, your apprentice he has a relation to the subject of cutting meat, because maybe he's already a bit skilled. Maybe he comes from a farm and he knows how to maybe slaughter animals. So he's more connected to the subject. So you can use this knowledge and the skills your apprentice already developed towards the subject. So it's about reflecting yourself. How are you connected with the subject? And also to see at apprentice, how is he related to that subject? And can you use these skills he has already? Or do you see there are some rejections maybe, and you have to build bridges for the apprentice towards the subject of cutting meat, let's say, and so that he can get into that skills, that he can train the skills that he needs. So you see there is a tension between those three parts. You have to be aware of that, and you have to deal with these tensions. On the didactical side, you have to think about, there's a lot of information, there are a lot of things you can share and train with your apprentice. You have to look what is needed now, in what order, in what steps it needs to be done. Otherwise the apprentice maybe is just quitting and says, I don't get it, it's too much, it's too difficult. So you have to think what to do, and then you have to think how to do. That's a methodology. So how do I practice, how do I train, how do I share knowledge to my apprentice? Communication is a big thing. You saw in the triangle that there are a lot of communication running. If communication is not running, then you might have problems, and the others as well. It's important to communicate clear, saying what you're meaning, not speaking in a complicated sentences, or just we would say talking between the lines. So you put a message in what you're saying, but you're not really targeting what you mean. So especially for young people, target clearly, speak clear. Your apprentice must be clear what he needs to do now, what you want him to do. Give feedback to him, give regular feedback, give feedback in the situation directly. It's important for your apprentices to receive feedback from you. If your apprentice does a specific work that you appointed him to do, so let him assess himself. evaluate himself, how he would evaluate his work, and then assist with your evaluation. What do you think? How the job worked out? How good it was, or maybe what can be changed next time. Be empathetic for the situation. Give praise and show appreciation and understanding, maybe also for things that didn't work so well. And of course, sometimes you have to criticize things, maybe in the attitude of the apprentice, or maybe in the work result he's offering. But address it straight and say directly, understandable what you mean. Be politeful. Yeah, and always remember, you are the role model for your apprentice. You are the one where they will talk years later on about you. So, and you have the possibility to give a good role model for them, or maybe a better role model. For communication, there are some models that you can use, and that we will use now as well, helping you to understand a bit more how communication is working. So you see this picture, two persons talking, other one is talking, other one is listening. And there are 4 channels how you can communicate. You see the 4 tongues coming out of the mouth. From the one side, the sender, we call him the sender, he's sending a message. And you see on the other side a receiver, in this case it's a lady. She is having 4 ears, and so there are 4 channels where you can send messages. That's why communication is difficult. Those 4 channels, they have 4 names. The first will be appeal. It's just a appeal, forcing to do something. The next channel will be relationship. It talks about the sender and the receiver, how the relationship is like, what it is like. We have a self-revelation channel. The sender is self-revealing. And then we have this channel with factual information. You can send with a one channel, and the other one can receive with another channel. So it's just crossed over. We make an example. Just think of a couple sitting in the car and waiting in front of a traffic light, a red traffic light. Let's say the husband, the man, is driving, and then the light turns from red to green. But whenever he's not suddenly starting and accelerating the car, it just takes a moment, and the lady, she says to him, the traffic light is green. So the lady is sending a message, the traffic light is green. So we don't know how the pronunciation is like. If she's saying, the traffic light is green, or if she's saying, the traffic light is green. So you see there's a lot of pronunciation, sounds and body language that helps you also to understand the communication better than just reading a few words. But if we look at these 4 channels, we will look at them and say, what could that mean maybe? Let's look at the factual content. The factual content of this information is just the traffic light just turned green. It's green now, it's not red anymore, it's green now. It's quite simple, the factual information in that message. But we can also hear an appeal the lady is sending to her husband. Let's go. Go for it. Start the car. Hurry up. Okay, it's an appeal to do something. Maybe this receiver is hearing this message as an appeal. Or maybe he's listening more towards the relationship channel. What information can be in this sentence? And what is the sentence maybe saying about the relation? Maybe it had some trouble in the morning or whatever. We don't know about it. She's my boss. She wants to say when to go and when to stop. I'm the servant. Is that the relationship channel maybe? Maybe that's the information on the relationship level. Or there is the fourth channel, self-revelation. What is she saying about herself? She's maybe in a hurry, or maybe she's impatient or annoyed or something like that. A message about herself we can read or we can hear out of this sentence. So we talked about communication models. Now we will go a further step. We will talk about teaching models. How can you go ahead in supervising and training your apprentice? There are different models, step models. We choose one here in this example, but like I said, there are others, and there are also even more steps, as you will see, that we just show you in this step model. So if you want to train something to your apprentice, you have a goal that you want to reach, and you have a starting point where you are right now. So first step can be you're telling your apprentice what to do. So let's take an example. Let's say cutting wood. Okay, there's a piece of wood that you have, and you have a tool to, however, cut this piece of wood in small parts. So you're telling your apprentice what to do. You tell your apprentice what is important to look at, and you tell your apprentice how to use the tool. And maybe you stop now and say, yeah, but there's something else I can do before I tell my apprentice what to do. I can ask him, have you already experienced with this tool? Have you already experienced with wood? Did you ever do before something that was similar with this, what I'm showing you now? So this could be even a first step before I'm telling. But we go further. Okay. However, the experience are, I will show my apprentice how to cut this wood now. So I'm showing. Next step will be handing it over, encouraging my apprentice to do the same. So I will see if it's fine already how he's doing, or maybe I have to show again, so I go a step back, second step back again, and show again how to handle the saw, and then I let him do it again. So after a while I just observe, or I'm doing something else, coming back, and we're looking at the work he is doing or he was doing. So we review, we're in a review progress. How is the result? How was it working? Something else maybe we have to change. So I will ask questions also. How did you feel with it? How were your experience? And so on. We keep going on this stairway, always to reach a higher level. Learning by teaching, learning by doing. There's a saying of Albert Einstein. He said, learning is experience. So you're not just learning how to cut or to work with wood just by telling. So you have to experience, because it says everything else that you're not experienced is only information, useless information. So learning is having experience. How can you let motivation explore in your apprentice life? How can you help your apprentice to develop, to break free? Maybe sometimes they're a bit shy and they're not really self-confident in what they're doing. And how can you do that? So there's a sentence of a saying of Herzberg, one of big scientists. He said, the job of manager, the job of you, of us as teachers, as incoming trainers, the job of a manager is not to light a fire of motivation, but to create an environment to let each person's personal spark of motivation blast, let it burn. So we have to create environment, the atmosphere, security and so on outside, so that the work is safe, the working atmosphere is good. You as the leader, you're cooperating and you're leading good, so that his apprentice, that he can be free and motivated to do things that you show, and to explore and to find out his skills and let the motivation explore. So now it's up to you, it's your turn. We talked about different models, about the four communication ways. We talked about the different steps, how to teach practical work. So you look in your company, you look in your environment where you're working, what you wanna teach your apprentice. Just take maybe a smaller task, something you say, this fits for my apprentice. This is possible for him to reach. Okay, so let's think about an example for yourself. The motivation must come with your apprentice. So let's look for something maybe that he is also motivated to do, not something that you know he's not really keen about that. It's also necessary to do, of course, but maybe for our example now, just look for something that you know your apprentice, they will like to learn this. Basic motivation must be there. So for you, it's also important the environment. Develop the environment, develop a space to be free and to be excited. Avoid with your task you are now thinking of to overstrain or understrain your apprentice. It must not be too easy, but it shouldn't be too difficult as well. During the day, there are different works that need to be done. Look at your apprentice, that he's not always doing the same work, that he also has different works to do. So in now training your apprentice, he needs to see that you're not only having the basic works to do, but there are also some extra things you wanna teach him, and so he feels more special and says, yeah, of course, there's something that I can do. My boss, my trainer, he trusts me that I will do this also in the future, doing the basics, of course, but also doing the special things. So now you had some time of creating your example, thinking through this exercise. If you discover maybe it's not so easy, or at one or other point there's still some problems, communicate experience of success. So it's always, we are humans, we criticize the bad things that did not work so well, but let us look more at the good things. Let us look more at the success that the people have, that your apprentice has, and reflect and communicate also on the success, not only what was not so good. Take your time and talk to your apprentice. Maybe you see the situation was not good, he was frustrated because it wasn't working, and if you go in that situation and you talk to him, maybe it's not the right time. So take a bit of break so that the apprentice can calm down, maybe his frustration, maybe slows down a bit his anger, and then go and talk again and try maybe to explain in another way, and try a different way to get further on with your apprentice. If you see there is a problem in doing this work, before you solve the problem, think about if you can help your apprentice to find their own solution, so that your apprentice can solve by himself the problem and can find their own way out of the trouble. So you are just the final answer. You are the one who knows everything, of course. But help your apprentice also finding solution. It's much more helpful. Maybe sometimes it's better things are not working at the first time straight through. Maybe sometimes it's also good when there are troubles and your apprentice knows, I can handle troubles, I can handle problems, I will find solutions. And if I don't find them, if I tried and I don't find the solutions, I can come to my in-company trainer, to my boss, and then he will not make me down, then he will go through with me together, and then maybe we find together a solution. The last model we are giving you for this seminar today, which was now very big and lots of models we used, but the last one, it takes a bit of time to think about that after the seminar. It's again a model from Herzberg. He developed the two theories of one side motivation and the other side hygienic factors. Two-factor theory it's called. So what is this? What does this two-factor theory of motivation means for us, and especially for the dual vocational training? So you see these two arrows. One arrow is going to the top, the other one is going to the bottom. In the middle, where they are connected, it's a zero line. So if we stand there in our motivation life, we are not really motivated, but we are also not really demotivated. So if you look at the sentences, at the words which are mentioned in the arrow going downwards, you see bad quality of supervisor, your payment is bad, maybe your job is not really secure, you don't know if you still have work tomorrow, the policies of your company are not really fine for you, and so on. Relationship, working atmosphere is bad in your company, and you go down and down, you always get more demotivated. So all these factors on this side, on the lower side, they bring you to more demotivation. So we come back to our zero line. We are not demotivated and we are not really motivated, we're just neutral. So if we want to be motivated, if we want to motivate others, there are some points we have to look for. The job, is it an interesting job or is it a boring job? So if it's interesting, I get a bit more motivated. Is it something where I can grow personally? Is it something that I can develop myself? So motivation is rising. Opportunities, possibilities in the future. Do I have responsibility for what I'm doing? Is it recognized what I'm doing? And so on. Achievement. And you see you're going up and up. So motivation is rising. In our lives, in our work life, in your work life, and especially for the IDVET, look at the circumstances of demotivation. Try to reduce the demotivation factors as far as it's on your side. Maybe some things you're not responsible for and you cannot influence them. But the ones you can influence, try to eliminate them so that you come to this zero line. And look on the motivation factors. What can you do that your apprentice, that your staff member, that they are motivated, that are more motivated. Sometimes you still have demotivation factors, of course. Sometimes they're just there, but try to have more on the positive side. Try to have more on the motivation side. And I think that will help you in your dual vocational training, in teaching and training your apprentices, and it will help you in your general work life always to think about this model, the lower arrow and the top arrow leading up on a higher level. Thank you again today for joining this seminar, and I hope you will have lots of information that you can use starting today. See you next time.